What's up, my
What it
people?
is.
How's it going?
Very well.
Good.
Tony.
Very well.
Tony, Don, Tony.
Nice to meet
Good
you,
to meet
Don.
you,
You know,
man.
I love having these guests that I don't know already.
Right.
Because it's like really cool, like that first conversation.
But I know
And,
you feel something from him.
Oh, brother, we already there.
Yes.
It's
Awesome.
kind of crazy.
We're already flowing.
We dosed up.
Yes.
And ready to go.
With
Exactly.
nothing illegal. It's all
No,
legal.
exactly. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
dosed up, not doped up.
Oh. What that?
DOSE, dopamine,
that
oxytocin.
could go both ways.
Yeah, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins.
See,
We
now you're just
dosed
showing
up.
off. Just showing off for the guests. That's all right.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Thanks,
So-
guys.
He usually introduces everyone, and I still want him to set up the layup for us.
All right.
But I already know that we got some stuff to discuss. So go
Oh
ahead.
yeah,
Let's
for
get it
sure.
rocking.
So I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, but
Okay.
I'll give you the layup, so
Yeah.
that makes Tony happy.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
The
jump in.
layup is
Okay.
this is Don Clark. Okay, so Don does a lot of specializing in meditation,
Awesome.
energy, chakras, Reiki, a lot of just natural,
Wow.
beautiful ways to break things that might be locked into yourself. You know, so I'll let you take it from there, right?
Okay. So you got that right.
Yes.
99%.
Okay.
I don't do Reiki. It's a whole different system of doing energy work. But I do meditation instruction, energy work as it relates to how we connect with our bodies to the earth and to the universe or God, the matrix, whatever you want to call it.
Yep, all that.
The methods that I use are more scientific than they are spiritual.
Excellent.
And that's where I sort of veer from Reiki, because they are attunements and things that they do that are more spiritual. So the meditation, the energy work, and spiritual counseling to help people just sort of find themselves spiritually, because we are spiritual people.
Right.
And a lot of us, we get lost in our depression, or we get lost in our illnesses, or we get lost in relationships, we get lost in our finances. And when people get lost in those things, they lose that on the inside. That thing that really connects them to the universe,
Right.
connects them to God. So
Wow. Where you be finding these people?
Man, listen. Well, it's funny how, cause so I, like you said, just life. Life happens,
Right.
and then if you let it, it gets to a point where it just like it locks you up.
Right.
So I just started researching, and then my wife actually was the one that found him. One night, and I was like, I just told her, I was like, man, I'm just feeling, I don't know, I'm just feeling not myself.
Right.
Like me, like
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm a happy motherfucker. So I wasn't happy.
Right.
I was a sad motherfucker that day. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I was like, okay, I got to, what do I do with this? Like, do I, go for a run? Do I, what is this? So I just started looking, and then my wife came across, I don't know, his website or his video or something. So she was like, you got to check this video out. So we watched this video. I was like, man, I feel something there, like a connection, like maybe I should talk to this guy, So he has a number. He's like, just message me, and so I messaged him, and he actually responded like a couple minutes later.
Right.
And I was like, oh shit, he already messaged me back.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, I'd like to make an appointment and stuff. So we made an appointment, like literally was like a day or two after that. And then that's how we got connected, and we went in, and I didn't really know what to expect. I hadn't done anything like that before. I mean, I've done meditation and things like that just through doing martial arts my whole life, So that's part of martial arts, you meditate and you just kind of, and it's really healthy, So I had done that, but I didn't know what to expect. I know from the video, I was like, maybe, I don't know, So when we talked, I just kind of told him how I was feeling, and then we went through some of the stuff, and then he checked and found some blockages in my chakras,
Right.
Which I didn't know what the fuck that meant
Yeah.
at all. I'm like, yep.
I got a couple of them.
If you're telling me I got
We
some
can
shit
work 'em
inside
out.
me that needs to come out, yeah, that's it. It's a
Yeah.
blockage. And then he did what he does, man, and we're 3 sessions in now, I think, right?
Yep.
Something
3
like
sessions.
that. Yeah, and I just feel very open, very good. I don't know, it's like this,
love
whatever
it.
that was going on,
I love it.
it's dissipating. It's we're kicking his ass. So
Do you do couples like together?
I do sometimes.
Probably separate first, and then
Separate is usually best to begin with, and
Yeah.
then if a couple wants to do like learn a meditation together,
Right.
or they want to learn how to even do energy work for the other,
Right.
I'm glad to be able to teach people that. My goal with people is to teach them how to live an energetic life. It's not about keeping people coming from now until
right,
2022.
right,
It's about teaching people how to live an energetic life so that they know how to balance their energy on a daily basis between couples or as individuals. Yeah.
cool. And then, so you basically plant that seed and send them out into the world to be fruitful and multiply.
And I'm always available.
Cool.
They have my number. They know how to contact me. I have a couple people who call me every now and again, and they say, you know what, I need a tune-up.
Right.
Yeah.
A reboot. Yeah.
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 And so, I help them get back into that game and
Yeah.
into that practice of working on their energy.
Excellent. I definitely want to see. I want you to do my program.
Okay.
Right. And then because I believe it'll help you help other people with
Yeah.
their with your program.
That's my goal.
And, so and I will send people
Yeah.
your way
Yeah.
that come to me for my program. Like, listen, okay, you cleaned out the temple. Now
Mm-hmm.
go talk about filling it with the right spirits.
Yes, the energy that's between the molecules and the atoms, that's where people need to get to, because that's who we really are.
Right.
That energy, that essence that gives us life,
Right.
that's who we really are.
Yes.
And it's about getting that
And where
activated.
is that energy?
Yes.
Are you asking me?
Yes, sir.
Between the atoms and the molecules.
But I'm saying, is it out there or is
Oh.
it in here?
No.
Okay, now that's an interesting question there, because
Everybody's, where's my glasses?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
no, I so get you. It is within us and it's without us.
Okay.
Actually, energy that we have for our personal energy can actually be seen on monitors, and you can see a person's aura. You can even see a person's energy centers, or chakras, as some people call them, pranas, chi, whatever. And you can actually see these on electronic devices now.
I believe
and
it.
so it's in us and it's without us.
Okay.
And one of the things that we want to do is we want to get our energy moving and activated in such a way that it can go before us.
Okay.
It can go beside us. It can go above us, below us, and behind us.
And you were telling me about, remember that, so he's got a chart with all the chakras in the body, and they're all different colors.
Right.
And you were telling me like that's how, and it is in actuality,
Yes.
like they're actually
Those
those
are
colors.
the colors.
Wow.
And the ancients have known it
Crazy.
for thousands of years, that these were the colors.
Wow.
The colors of the rainbow.
Right. It makes sense. Everything's tied together, and that's why I was saying, where does it come from? Where do you start realizing where it comes from? You have to, like I said, you cleanse the temple, and then all of a sudden things start making sense.
Yes.
And stuff that is negative or wrong,
Yeah.
is easy to spot. Whereas
Oh,
before,
man.
the programming keeps us, reacting. That's why you can just manipulate the masses with, videos and words and all that type of stuff,
Yeah.
because they're not grounded.
The
They're
subconscious mind is
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've been learning since before birth.
Yes.
From the moment that you could hear in your mother's womb, you began to learn
Hmm.
and get programmed. And so we've had a long time to get programmed.
Wow.
And doing this kind of work puts the subconscious down and lets the conscious mind begin to lead you, lead your body, lead your
Wow.
mind, lead your spirit,
Wow.
and show you how to interact with all of this that we have around us.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Like for me, one of the biggest things I got out of it. I mean, we've been working for not long, a couple of weeks. Is realization
Right.
for me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like a lot of things that, like you were saying, you subconsciously you just kind of like downplay or whatever. Man, it's just like, and then you look at it, and I'm looking. Okay, a week ago I'm looking at the same thing.
Yeah. Perspective.
Right.
Yep.
But a week ago I'm thinking this is okay.
Yep.
And then this week I'm like, fuck that.
Yep.
This ain't okay.
Right.
Right.
This is not okay.
It's not
You know what I mean?
okay.
Yep.
Right. And
Yep.
you stop lying to yourself.
I always tell people, first place doesn't mean you really won. You know what I'm saying? It's a matter of perspective. You know what I'm saying? So when you
Especially
start
in
looking at
bodybuilding.
life, well, yeah, in bodybuilding. But I'm saying when you start looking at life, you know what I'm saying? Like you see people, oh, they winning, and then you go to home to their private quiet place.
Exactly.
And they're the most miserable people in the world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's all perspective. It's not. It's all an illusion as well.
Yeah.
Your circumstances should not control your happiness
Right.
or your sadness.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely, because we know we can look at Hollywood, we can look at politics and the people who are involved in all of those things, business even. And how many of them aren't here on the planet with us right now because their success, their money, their fame, none of that got them where they thought they were going.
Nope.
No.
It actually, you pick up burdens, you pick up demons and evil spirits and bad
so
habits
right.
and all that type of stuff all throughout your life. And back to my program, I basically went through it all myself, and I realized that, I have to repent. We talk about this sometime, but it's not just, oh Lord, please forgive me. It's changing my way of thinking,
Exactly.
changing the way I look at food,
doing that 180,
changing the way,
right?
yes, doing that 180. And again, there's nothing really wrong with going the wrong way. But once you realize you're going the wrong way, you stop and turn around.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you do that and you repent from in your heart and in your mind, so in other words, your thought process is different,
Yeah.
then the healing begins. And the fastest way to get to that point is to cleanse the temple
Yes.
and then get with somebody who knows how to direct those things and kind of give you guidance. And you've kind of fast tracked that situation, whereas a lot of people are very depressed, have anxiety and hang-ups, but it's all in their head. So.
It is, and it's part of that subconscious programming, what we learn from the environment, what we learn from the news, what we learn from politics and all of these systems. And we absorb that, we take it in. But when you do the energy work and you work from the inside out, suddenly that stuff loses its power. It begins to lose its importance,
Yep.
especially when you don't focus on it
Right.
anymore. What we do in our society is we focus on that energy that's out there, and it just sucks us right into it. But when you back up, move inward, that stuff starts taking a back seat. It's like the news. The news has no relevance to me whatsoever.
None.
It has no relevance. It has no power. I know that things are happening in the world, good. Things are happening bad. None of those things I can touch. I can't do anything about any of those, but I can do something about what's in here.
Yep.
And that's where
When you
need to
learn
start.
that, man,
Precisely.
that changes your life.
It does.
Creflo Dollar preaches this sermon called The Law of Receiving, and he talks about the three gates: your eyes, your ears, and your mouth. And that's all you have control of. What you see and say, what you see and look at, what you say and eat,
Yeah.
and what you listen to. Other than that, we have zero control in life. And man, when you realize that and start focusing on that,
You never leave your house again.
well, no, I'm telling you, got to understand what happens is the world becomes real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So in other words, you see the illusion,
Yeah.
Right.
and you live in reality.
Yes.
Like I know we in the Matrix, but I'm like Neo up
you
in
took
this.
the words
mug.
right out of my mouth.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm
we
saying?
even talked about the Matrix, man.
You took
You know
the
what I'm
words
saying?
right out.
We
But
talked
I'm
about the
like-
movie
But
even.
I'm like Mr. Anderson. Don't even try.
Yeah,
it.
right. Don't
You know
get
what
out
I'm
of here,
saying?
Mr. Anderson.
Right, yeah.
So
Because it is an illusion.
Yes.
It's what we've created. It's
Yeah.
it's what we have been taught to create.
Yep.
And so what we see, we've created.
Yeah.
We brought this to us. Even this moment that we're in right now,
Yep.
we brought this moment here.
Yeah.
I mean, I was telling Paj when he asked me, to invite me on the program, that this very thing has been in my intentions and been in my meditation for months and
Yeah, when you
months
told me that,
and
bro, I was
months.
like, goosebumps again.
Yes. And so being here today is, and I even told,
Yeah, you
Paj
told
right in
me.
the beginning, I don't even feel nervous being there because I sense the momentum of this moment right now.
yeah.
And so that's what I'm
That's crazy.
creating.
Yeah, man.
yes. And so it's a whole new world for me. I'm creating a brand new world. It's heaven on earth that we're supposed to be creating.
Supposed to.
And
Exactly.
not let the earth tell us what the creation is, but we're supposed to create heaven on earth.
Right. But people fall in that same highway, right?
Yeah.
And they just keep
Just
following.
get in line.
They just follow each other.
Let's
Well,
get in line.
Everybody else is going down here. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know.
People don't really. I'm speaking general. We are born creators.
Yes.
And when you stop creating and you
Yes.
just start letting other people tell you what to eat, tell you how to dress, tell you what to watch, tell you what to drive, you know what I'm saying? In other words, you're doing these things to please people outside of yourself. And you just get lost.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I get back to cleansing out the temple so you can really know what it feels like to feel good. Know what you know. What I'm saying nothing's fake going on, and you just absorb the realness and then deflect the fakeness.
It's about organizing the body, mind, and spirit, right?
Yep, exactly.
And you know who you let into your circle, man. That has a giant effect on your life. You know what I mean? If you got somebody toxic around you,
Yep. But when you're not toxic, you sense them right away.
yeah,
Precisely.
And then
do.
I try to give everybody face value, but it's just a certain point where you get to people like, well, it's just you need to
need to
whatever
go
you
away.
need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I've
But
seen
do
enough.
do it over there.
yeah, I've seen
exactly.
enough. You've done enough. I've heard enough.
Yeah.
And the more work that you do internally, the easier it is for those people to just leave you.
Yep.
You won't have to worry about pushing them away from you.
Right.
They'll just leave you because they'll see that you're walking in the light.
Mm-hmm.
And when you walk in the light, those who want to be in the darkness will
Scatter like
seek.
roaches.
Well, you took the words right out of my
Turn the
mouth,
lights on.
at least out of my mind. I wasn't actually going to say it right out loud, but no, I'm glad you did because that is really what it is. They prefer to be in the dark.
Yep.
And they will walk away from you. Even relationships that are close, that you thought, we're like that forever.
Yeah.
They will begin to move away as your light and your energy increases and takes up more space.
Who he think he is?
Man.
You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
trying to act all proper.
He ain't proper.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Precisely. Yeah. And
Especially
people
people
will back
that
off.
know you from the past. You know what I'm saying? They don't believe that you really changed.
They think you're the same
Like
person.
I literally told like females like cracking on me online because I used to entertain them,
Mm-hmm.
as I say, and now I tell them, look, I repented, I changed, I can't even I'll talk to you, but I ain't gonna talk to you about what you trying to talk to me about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're not
and
taking
then
it
most
there.
of the time they just. Then they'll come back like 3-4 months later. Are you
Give
sure?
it another try. Yeah.
I'm like,
Try
yes,
one
I'm sure.
more time.
Yeah. So it's a trip, and like I told you, it's such a freeing feeling to realize, okay, I'm lost. You know what I'm saying? But I see that speck of light, and then you head towards the light, and then once you come out of there,
Yep.
you know you don't want to go back there, and that's where I'm at now at 53. Now at 23 and 33
Oh, yeah,
and
it
even
was a different
43,
story, wasn't it?
was a totally different story. So
Man.
I literally realized that if I didn't change my ways, then I'm going to shorten my days. And so I just.
And it's not even worth for what reason.
Oh, bro. Even if you, like I say, even if you're winning, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, even if when I left, if I had left and came back and won everything,
Still
I would
losing.
have just still been getting further away from where I was supposed to be.
You're still losing, really,
Exactly.
in the end.
I know I'm where I'm supposed to be right now because now
How do you know that?
it was revealed to me, basically.
Okay.
And it's so crazy. It was revealed to me, and I said, okay. And then I stepped to the side for a second and almost got hit by a Mack truck. Not literally, but I knew.
Metaphorically.
You
I
can see
knew.
life coming at you.
I knew. And I instantly said, wow.
Okay.
And then ever since that moment, I've been locked on target because now I realize that, that feeling of being reborn, it's temporary if you let it be, but it can be permanent. But it's like a everyday thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a daily renewal.
Yes.
Like every day I still get faced with the same temptations, my same weaknesses, my same hang-ups, habits, whatever. And I'm able to do like Neo and you know what I'm saying? And it's
Exactly.
weird because before I didn't have a chance. I would just fall into the situation. When I was the X-Man, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It was whatever.
It's two different people.
Yeah.
That's like I tell people, you are always walking into your next future moment.
Yep.
And that's all we have, is to be able to walk into that next future moment as a new person, as a different person, as a person who's following his bliss or her bliss and their joy. Whatever it is that moves you and motivates you forward, you're always walking into it or sitting back in the past.
That's
Holding
true.
on to the emotions, the memories, the traumas of the past. So move forward, right?
Throughout my life, I've had moments where I say, "Oh, let me get my shit together." You know what I'm saying? And then you start, and then you do it for a minute,
Right.
then you go back. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Well, it never stuck until I cleaned out the temple. You know what I'm saying? Like in other words, if you cleaning up the house and you sweep the trash under the rug, and
Yeah.
you
It's still
you
there.
have- it's still there.
It's still there.
So eventually, it's gonna start showing again. Man, I literally purged myself and it was such a.
So how did you do that? What did that look like for you?
Well, I was eating. I'm gonna just tell you basically because it was an accident. Okay. I mean, well, it was an accident, but what I'm saying is I didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to do this." You know what I mean? So I injured myself, couldn't compete. So I said, the doctor said, "Listen, you got to take off about 8 weeks so your leg can heal. It's a soft tissue injury." Okay, cool. Well, I know better. If I eat 7 meals and I'm not training, then body fat's coming.
Pork up.
So I'm thinking already, well, in 9 weeks, I'm going to be back on the program. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I started cutting my food back according, to my activity.
To the training, yeah.
Right? So I went from 7 meals to 6 meals to 5 meals to 4 meals to 3 meals to 2 meals to 1 meal because I started reading about intermittent fasting. So then I started doing, 1 meal every 24 hours. Well, if you do that about 3 or 4 weeks in a row, stuff happens different. And so then I start fasting longer. Not necessarily fasting like dry fast or water fast, but no processed food, no sugar, only foods that God made, no hybridized foods. You know what I'm saying? It's not that many, but, so anyway, you do that, and then the organisms, the microorganisms that you're feeding with the chips and the burgers and fries and all that.
All the bad shit.
Well, they starve. They start to starve. And then, you do other things like herbal teas, castor oil, things like that. And now they leave. You know what I'm saying? When you drink eucalyptus tea, if you got parasites in your gut, especially the ones that's not buried into you, they out of there. I don't know what it is about eucalyptus. They head in the other direction. But anyway, I did all that, and then I started drinking distilled water to help, it's supposed to decalcify your pineal gland is calcified from drinking fluoridated water.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I swear to you, the day that it decalcified, I literally felt it. I literally felt it because now I started looking at the world totally different. And drinking dose, what I gave you before, balance your brain chemistry. So imagine balanced brain chemistry every day, every week, every month, and then detoxifying yourself of the stuff that
you were becoming
made you
a new man.
A new man. I mean, I don't look like I used to look.
Yeah, that's the thing with Tony is, like physically he's not as big as he was, but that's because that's all he did was work out and eat for being that size. But even like because I've known him since I was 16 years old. You know what I mean? Like I've known Tony a long time, and he just looks like a different. I mean, I know it's Tony, but when I look at him, I'm like.
That's just I know
Who
when
the
I
fuck
look
is
in the
this
mirror.
guy? You know what I mean?
When
Like-
I look in the mirror, and I'm talking neck up because neck down, okay, it's obvious. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like my physique was insane, and it from looking at it from where I'm sitting now, to me it was really insane. I do see my weaknesses way better than I used to too, but I realized that I was 6'2", 306 pounds with a 32-inch waist and
abs. And
31-inch waist. I'm sorry, and 32-inch quads.
And
I'm like,
he
that doesn't.
And he was in shape though. He wasn't like
I'm talking about
300 pounds.
I'm talking about 5% at that size. Matter of fact, 3 weeks out at that size. I competed at 293 that year.
Yeah.
But
Jeez.
Listen, his entire wardrobe was spandex.
Exactly.
Spandex made so much money off of him that year during that time.
I'm the one that brought it in for sure. One
Yeah,
of them anyway.
it was spandex and those shoes right now. He's wearing
Right.
right now. That was it.
Those shoes
That's
are
Tony's
cool.
whole wardrobe.
We gotta talk
But,
about those shoes.
But like I said, when I started like purging that and not doing the things that I used to do, man, I was reintroduced to my non-toxic self.
Yeah.
And the thoughts that I used to have as a 17, 18-year-old kid before I started doing all that, I started thinking like that again. But as a wise old man. Yeah. So like the pure heart that I had back then.
First of all,
I was,
53 is not old. So
well, I'm just
calm the
saying.
fuck
I'm
down.
saying the wisdom of somebody
Right, the
that's
wisdom.
been there,
Okay.
done that.
Use that word, wisdom.
But you know what I'm saying? But I knew I had to change a heart. I knew I had to change a mind, and I knew that, man, I can't do that stuff no more. I can't.
Well, it's not even healthy to do it, man. Like,
Of course,
you know what I mean?
of course. But like I say, we're blinded and programmed.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And coming from a 162-pound kid who picked up the weights and instantly found something that, oh, this is me right here. You know what I'm saying?
this.
And I went from don't even waste your time, don't quit your day job to top 5 in the world.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
So
Yeah. For a long time.
anything,
And for a long time at the top, you know?
anything is possible. Mindset is the number one ingredient. And then once you get the mindset, and then if you got, especially if you got a mentor who can keep you from bumping your head and you can stay focused, the
Forget
sky's the
about it.
limit.
Yeah.
Well, what about your spiritual journey? After you got your temple clean, as you say,
Well,
what happened?
I
that-
try to stay away from, but I'll tell you straight up. I started fasting hard because I was trying to put together a business deal, right? I might take the whole show, but I'm not going to
That's
tell
all
the
right.
whole.
Hey,
I'm
man.
not going to tell the whole
This
story.
This show is about
I'm not
helping
gonna tell the
people,
whole
man.
story,
It's
but
all
as
good.
I started cleansing the temple, as my pineal gland started decalcifying,
Okay.
I became more observant,
Yes.
more discernment.
Yes.
I started paying attention. So I started seeing numbers on, like 11:11. My son's born on 11:11, so that's why I noticed it.
That's my number
But
right there.
that doesn't
That's your
determine
number?
how many
Yes.
times I see it. Say that again?
That's my number.
Yeah. So I started seeing 11:11, right? And I'm trying to put together this deal with the chocolate company, and my partner in the chocolate company is in Australia. So I get on the plane. I buy me a plane ticket to leave on November 1st and come back on November 16th.
Okay.
Fly over there. We meet. We hanging out. We get the first batch of the first sample. We taste it and it's bitter, right? And so we have to go back and do it again. So I'm gonna be there for almost 10 days. Well, while I'm there, I'm driving past. I see the sign 11:11. Oh yeah, whatever. And the clock 11:11. Man, I start seeing hotel rooms 11:11, seat ticket, all kind. I was just like, what is this 11:11? Right? So I didn't know what it meant. Anyway, I'm in Australia and I realized, wait a minute, my son's birthday is on 11/11. I can't miss his 14th birthday. Couldn't get a chocolate sample. I changed my ticket to leave on 11/11. So we're there a day and a half behind. So I leave on 11/11. I land on 11/11. I go home, see for my son's birthday.
You get home at 11:11.
I don't think so. So my wife has a cat, right? Right? My wife has a cat, and I'm
cat's
pissed
11.
off. I'm already pissed off, but it's 11:11. The cat comes in later.
Okay.
My dog is born on 11/11. I forgot to tell you that. I know it's crazy, bro.
fuck,
So
man.
anyway, I get
That's
home.
all
I'm
good.
pissed off because I went all the way to Australia, came back with no samples. So that's stuck in my head,
Right.
and I'm already going broke, trying to get this thing done.
Yeah.
And so I get over there, and I'm pissed at the world. The cat is all over me, like giving me love, distracting me from my misery.
Right.
Right? And I'm thinking that it's my friend who had just passed away about a couple of weeks before that. I was like, "Are you Craig?" I'm thinking he's coming back to like cover me or something, because he used to always do that.
reincarnated?
It was crazy. I was tripping, bro. I was really tripping. But it's the old me shed. It's the old me shedding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
as the new me started waking up, I was kind of confused because this ain't how I normally feel about
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So anyway, long story short, I called my guy in Australia and I said, "Listen, man, I need to know how much money I need for this project
To make this
right?
happen.
You know what I'm saying?" I said, "Send me an invoice for a full container of chocolate." So he sent it over to me. It was $420,000, right? So I figured we had already spent 160 and still had no samples. I said, "Oh, well, I'm gonna need about 80 grand for operating capital." So I said, "I'm gonna ask Universe for 500,000, right?" So I said, "Universe, I said, wait a minute." I said, "The secret says ask for the craziest thing you can think
you
of.
go.
And so when it comes, you know where it came from."
Precisely.
I said, "Universe, I need $1 million to do this deal. And not only do I need $1 million, I said, whoever gives me the money, I need them to have the skill set to show me how to do what I need to do, because I have no clue." Right? So the next day, I said, well, I also have to take action. So I went and checked my credit, paid off all my credit cards, called a friend of mine. I said, I need a business plan because I'm about to try to get some money. Called her, flew out to California. She helped me with the business plan. And as I'm telling it to her, she said, "This is a good idea. I got a friend I want to introduce you to." I said, "Cool." I get on the plane, I fly back home. 2 days later, she gets me on the phone with him. We introduce each other. And he said, "Well, Tony, I read what she showed me. What do you need?" I said, "Well, I got this invoice for $420,000, and so I need to cover the invoice." He said, "I tell you what, you're gonna need a little operating capital after that, right?" He said, "Monday morning, I'm gonna put $500,000 into your account, and then I'm gonna hold another $500,000 just in case you
amazing.
need it."
Yeah.
This is like 72 hours after I asked for it, and I was just like, completely blown away.
Did you like hang up the phone
So
and do a backflip?
So I called my partner Paul. He's listening on the call, and we confirm everything. So then we hang up the phone. So it was almost New Year. So Greg, his name is Greg.
Yeah.
He called me to wish me Happy New Year. He calls me and wish me Happy New Year. So we're on the phone chatting it up, learning about each other. And I start telling him the story about the 11/11, right? He listened to the whole story. And then I said, ain't that crazy? He said, well, yeah, maybe. He said, are you sitting down? I'm like, oh, Lord. So I said, let me sit down. He said, well, you don't know me very well. He said, but I own 300,000 acres here in Montana. And I was building a little hobbit house for my friends when they come visit, so they have some place to stay. I just got the survey back from the surveyor, and you want to know what the address is?
1111.
1111.
Amazing.
So I just basically, and I know you could say it's a chance, you could say whatever, but the number 1111 means nothing. But I realized that once I started paying attention to the signs, it's like, because God doesn't talk to us the way that he used to, because there's too much white noise in the way.
Yeah.
So it's signs everywhere, and if you're paying attention, you see them, and it's like having a conversation.
I
it's
think
crazy.
we're on the same wavelength because you keep taking things right out of my mouth.
I'm not trying to.
It's all good.
We
God
just met.
is
This is
talking.
actually,
We
this is
just
actually him
met.
talking, but
Yes.
it's coming this way.
Yeah, maybe I'm channeling somehow. God is always talking, but are we always listening?
No.
And
We're on our phones.
not
We're
always.
doing
There you
everything
go.
distracted completely.
Precisely. And so when we pay attention to those things, 11,
That's why when
they
you
come
get
to
locked up,
fruition.
that's why when you get locked up and you're in the quiet, he starts talking to you. You
start-
can hear him.
Yeah.
Because now you really need him too. And so when you talk to him, then you can feel him talking back. You know, it's man, it's a trip. And like I say, people believe what they want to believe. But whether you believe in the Big Bang Theory or let there be light, you have to agree that we all come from one source.
I believe.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Yes.
once you just realize that, and forget the religious part and all that, you don't even, that's unnecessary to understand. You could go to whatever direction you want, but once you realize we all come from the same source, that's why we're connected. That's why I'm finishing your sentences.
Yes, exactly.
But we're vibrating on the same frequency, and that's how I can hear you.
Yeah.
The radio stations, all the noise, every cell phone conversation is going on right now, but you can only hear the one that you're connected to. So you align. That's how you meet people. Then you connect.
This happens
Right,
to us
and then when
all
you
the
want to
time,
get
man.
something done, you got to synchronize, and that's how you get shit done, by being synchronized with the people that.
But you
you're
got to
dealing
remember the biggest thing was that you have to pay attention. Otherwise, you're just gonna miss all this.
Gotta be awake.
with. Dude, when I was bodybuilding, I missed so many opportunities because anything that took me off the sight of the sundial was a distraction. I don't care what it was.
The
It could be-
sound owl is the biggest trophy in bodybuilding.
I didn't care what it was. Nothing could make me not do what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My kids, nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, when I woke up from that, I was just like, what the hell have I been doing this whole time? You know what I'm saying? So now I'm not anti-bodybuilding. I still love the sport. But people say, Tony, you going to come back and all that? I'm like, I would do it for like a novelty, whatever, but I could never consume my life with that again.
Like I was.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
You
I
found
mean,
out
not
what's important.
the fact that I'm 53, because if I didn't have this mindset, I'd still be trying to do it.
You figured out what's important.
Yes, I prioritized everything in my life, and I'm still working on it because
Yeah.
priorities
Oh,
change
it's a
as
work
you
in
move
progress.
down the
Yeah, for
line.
sure.
And but I know now that we live in full abundance. You know, we are programmed to think lack, shortage. It doesn't exist. That's an illusion. That's lies.
It is.
We live in total abundance. Everything you need, it already exists.
Already
It's
provided.
waiting on you.
Yes.
So if you
Especially-
need $1 million, speak it and then
Yes.
act.
Yes. When the idea, the inspiration comes, move. You have to move.
And I've done it repeatedly since then. I don't even really ask for money anymore. I basically pray for the ability and the means and the resources to accomplish whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish. We already know it requires money.
Yeah, I
You know
don't
what I'm
really
saying? But I
ask
don't
for
know how
money,
much,
man.
because if I knew how much, I would probably already be doing it.
And money's energy. That's all
Money
it
is energy.
Yeah.
Oh, and I asked the guy, because
Okay.
this guy's a white guy.
Okay.
I said, hey, man, what would possess you to give a black man that you never seen before $1 million before you even laid eyes on him? He said, Tony, talking on the phone to you, your energy was coming through the phone so fierce that I just wanted to do whatever it is you was talking about doing.
How
didn't
about
say
10,
anything right
how about
there.
10
I was
million
like,
there?
wow.
should have been like,
He said, money is merely energy, and your energy matches my money. So here it is.
There it
I was
is.
just
That's
like,
all it
whoa.
is.
That's- And we like this. I mean, we are like this. The chocolate business didn't work out, but it wasn't because it wasn't a great product. It's just too expensive.
Well, that wasn't the purpose, though.
That was not the purpose.
not the
Thank you very
purpose,
much.
yeah.
I had to lose to win.
Exactly.
I had to give up to get.
Yeah.
And so I learned the lesson now.
Yeah.
And of course, I have another business that's exploding because I launched that business with giving. So now I know anytime I want something, find somebody to give something to.
It's that universal principle.
Yep.
Giving and receiving.
Yep.
There's a whole
It's a
balance.
law.
We talked about
Yeah,
that
we talked
last
about
It's a
that.
week.
law.
Which is
About, it is.
It's
It
a
is
law.
the law of the universe that
It
you
is.
give and you receive. If you give without motivation and judgment,
Yes. Yep.
that you give for the good of the person that you're giving to,
Exactly.
and that they, in return,
Exactly.
for your good as well.
And it's nothing wrong, like in other words, I shared my product with you, right? There's a compensation plan attached to it, right?
Yes.
But it's irrelevant because I don't really care if
that's
you
not that's
actually
not why
buy
you're
it or
doing
not.
it.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But the reaction that I got from you is all I need. If you ever order
That's
it,
validation, right?
that's all I need. I'm like, yes, it works. That's all I need.
No, that's validation.
Because
yeah.
it's
Well, that's better than money.
it is.
It's better than money, man.
It is because it keeps growing. Like I
Yeah.
say, it's a seed. I planted a seed. I gave you a gift. I shared something that's amazing to me, and I gave it to you without even thinking about nothing.
I'm so
because I
glad
knew.
that you said that, because I've just changed my business model for the work that I'm doing, the energy work that I'm doing. And I'm not charging people a set fee anymore. I've just recently changed this because I could feel the universe calling me. I could feel God calling me and saying that there are people who need this who can't pay your fee.
Yep.
But there are ways to balance that exchange of energy
Yep.
through giving in kind or providing a service or a product or money, whatever it takes for me and another person to be able to do this work together to push them on. So that's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, that's it. But I'm saying we are programmed to think the opposite. And as soon as you
precisely.
deprogram yourself and you live it, it only has to happen once. The first time you're like, whoa, that worked.
Yeah.
Then the second time you do it, you're like, wait a minute. Then the third time, then the fourth time, and then every time. It's insane. My wife used to get on me. Why are you giving this away? Why are you doing that for free? Why? As I said, I don't know. I said, this is how I feel right now. A year and a half, 2 years and a half later, she's not asking me those questions no more because
She sees
the
it.
abundance that we are
results.
receiving and that we have, that I don't even have to get up and go get. It's coming to me every month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of something
Sure.
I did 2.5 years ago. Blows my mind.
God is
Blows
making
my
that
mind.
search you out.
Exactly.
Instead of you having to get in the street and find it, God's sending it to you.
You know,
See, that's one of the cool things. You know, when we started working together, I didn't know if he was going to even bring up God.
right.
Because, I never did. I mean, I just thought it's meditation. It might be like, just universe, like everything universe. But when he mentioned God, like he didn't say Jesus, Buddha, whatever, you know what I mean? He just said God, So it really stood out in my mind, like, oh, okay, well, we're talking about God. So that means,
Yeah.
Yep.
you know what I mean? I know there's always a greater power. There's something. We don't know what
Well,
it is.
just know that intelligent design.
Yes.
Some people say Anunnaki, some people say whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we will find out eventually.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you really just think about it, and you think about everything, not just how you feel, when you look into the sky and you see the sun and the moon and the stars, and you look up and you're amazed.
Yeah.
Still, I'm 53. Every time I look up, every time I look up, I'm like amazed. That is for us to look at and appreciate, right?
It's no accident.
So, and honestly, we all been looking up and seeing the exact same thing every single night, year after year. You know what I'm saying? So it's for a purpose. In other words, every time you see a beautiful sunset, you get that nostalgic type feel. It's crazy. Every time you wake up in the morning early enough to see a sunrise, all that stuff is for a purpose, and then we're connected to it. And the sun makes our food and all that type of stuff. And we have to understand that could not be an accident. You know what I'm saying? There's only so many coincidences before it becomes impossible.
And
You know
it's
what I'm
all
saying?
about directing us.
Yep.
It's all about directing us. I mean, for the scripture in the Bible talks about the heavens declare the glory of God, so that man is without excuse.
Yep.
And that just means that we look up and we know that there is a supreme being. There is a God
Yep.
who put all of that into play.
Yep.
And that's what I love about my practice, is because my practice is not about a religion or about a denomination. It's about expressing who God created us to be. Doesn't matter where you're from, what your history is, what your religious, spiritual history, none of that matters, because we've been created to move in an energetic way. That's
Right.
what I love about the work. And so you can take things from Buddha, you can take things from the
course.
Christian Bible, you can take things from other religions, because the truth is the truth.
Yep.
regardless. It doesn't matter from what part of the planet it comes.
Right.
It
Yep.
is the truth.
It's all different versions or different interpretations or different languages, but it's the same story, same message.
So what you're
you know.
saying is you believe in UFOs, is what you're saying. Ancient aliens? And
Unidentified flying objects, sure,
Yeah,
but
they're
I don't
good.
believe that there's aliens from outer space. That
you don't
what I'm
believe in
saying?
ET?
I believe there might be something from somewhere else, but or even another dimension. And to be honest with you, as a human being that has no ability to go up there, I'm gonna be cool with. In other words, this is my only perspective. Every time I look at something on TV and it shows me that perspective from outer space to Earth,
Well, you see-
I just have to believe that that's true.
You see what they're
You know
saying
what I'm
now,
saying?
though, right? They're saying the aliens could be us from the future. So it could actually be humans. Like, they're saying how we have progressed, right? From like how we were
Progressed and regressed.
right.
Yes.
Well, progressed and got dumber at the same time. But like we went from like being a caveman to what we are right now.
Right.
Right. So they're saying, and like they're saying, okay, we started off like hairy, cavemen, right? And now and then we lost more hair, and we lost more hair, and lost more, and then now we're where we are now. And then they're saying like, well, aliens or whatever, right? They could be humans that are just super advanced.
Just evolve.
Yeah, and they're just
Yeah.
coming back in time.
Yeah. So
Well, I
technology
wanna see one.
eventually.
If they're there, I want to see one. That's,
I want to high five one, man. Shit.
Yeah.
I do believe in UFOs. I think there are things that you can't identify.
Well, I've seen
right?
one.
But
It didn't say from outer space on it. You know what I'm
What's that
saying?
What does it say?
It's
Property-
it's a cigar-shaped metallic thing floating over the horizon about 10 miles away.
Where'd
And
you
it
see
had to
this?
be huge driving from California to Atlanta. I mean, and I looked at it for like, I don't know, however long the highway was, it didn't go out of my view for a long time. I was like, I thought maybe it was something hanging on the wire. It was just floating there. And I
Why
was
in
just-
the fuck wouldn't you just
Well, I
get
mean, it was
going?
miles
What
and miles
the-
away. We was on the highway, and it's just desert, cactuses, coyotes, tumbleweeds. Mountains.
tell
It
you
was
something.
way back in the horizon, and I was like, "What is it?" Because I was dozing off. My boy was like, "Yo, Tony, a UFO." I was like, so instead of even looking out the window, I was like, "Man, you woke me up to freaking tell me about a UFO, and I'm pissed, right?" So he said, "No, dude,
Just look,
And I
motherfucker.
turned my head and looked. I was just like, "What in the hell is?" It was just so I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
but I don't think it was from outer space. It was just something that I couldn't identify, and it was floating in the air. Didn't have
Therefore, UFO.
no windows
You
on
got a
it.
UFO story?
Exactly.
no, not really. But
I have
mean,
one, but I didn't see it. But my entire family saw it. Like
Okay.
I'm talking
Like
about
lights in the dark, was it?
Like my grandmother was like, I don't know what it was, but I was there that day when they were at the beach, okay? And this is in Persia. They were at the beach, like the whole family was there. They were like, we were sitting and it was like where dusk, right? Where the sun's supposed to be setting. Well, they're like, we're looking at the ocean, right? And they're like, well, the sun's not coming down. We just see this giant sun coming out of it looks like it's coming out of the water, right? And they were like, it came out of the water, and it fucking just took off. Like the entire, and I'm like, listen, I want to know what the fuck you guys were smoking that day, because
And
if
why
we
you
can get
call
some of that
me,
here,
right?
we will be really well off.
Wow.
No, but I mean, even like at first, I was like, because my aunt said it and my uncle was like, I was like, man, you
And they
guys
could all
messing
see
with
it.
But when my grandmother said it, I was like,
Wow, got real.
grandma's not gonna make some shit up like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they were like, we don't know what it was, but we saw this shit.
Well, you got to know people see stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
All the time.
I believe that it's something.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is it from outer space?
Yeah,
I
aliens,
believe I
don't
believe
know.
the military has stuff that they play around with,
Yeah.
and could be holographic, could be real, but
Next time
it's
you
all an illusion. All the shit we see on TV is an illusion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think we just
My
took a
wife
little
sits
side
there and
tour.
watches hours and hours of Grey's Anatomy, all these different surgeon accidents and 911. I'm just like, Lord have
Yeah.
mercy, I can't even stand all that stuff.
No.
So
don't watch TV, man.
right.
Yeah,
That's the moral of the story.
That's takes me down a notch when
Me
when I
too.
watch that kind of stuff, and because they make it so realistic.
Yeah.
It feels like you're in there. And part of our creation process is feeling.
Yeah.
It's how we feel and we think and we act that makes us and helps us to create. And when you have those kinds of feelings in there, it
I hate
sometimes
absorbing
does
that
the
stuff,
opposite.
man.
Exactly.
People having to make
Absorbing.
these, life-altering decisions, in the blink of an eye because it just happened.
It's just like the news, man. You
that's the
can't
truth.
watch the news for 2 minutes without
No.
getting depressed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Everything's
crazy.
bad. There's no, they don't report anything that's good.
Very little.
Everything's bad.
Very little.
So you want to get depressed? Turn on the news. Be perfect.
So one of the things we were talking about recently is talking about contrast. So you have the contrast of what you see as being bad or negative or down or low energy or whatever you want to call that. Well, what is the thing that you
The opposite.
want?
Yeah.
The contrast of that. That's what we should be focusing on and seeing the thing that we want and be moving toward that and exerting our energy in that instead of looking at this low energy stuff.
Yeah.
He said, so was it the very first time that you said you saw my aura?
Yes.
And I was like,
Yeah.
that sounds awesome, but I don't know what that means. Like,
The
that's
little
not good.
device, and I don't want to change something, but the little device that I was telling you about, I got to show it to you because they have an aura analyzer on there. And
On the device?
yeah, and it shows your chakras, and then you can. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
Very, very cool.
Definitely
I wanna
bring
see
that
Very
thing in
cool.
here.
I want to see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had never seen a person's aura before until his.
Really?
Naturally, come on.
Never.
It's natural.
Wow.
I mean, because I've been a
Man, come on,
spiritual
it's-
person.
come up. Hello.
We'll talk offline. I'll tell
I'm
you
being
what
humble
what
right
I
now.
really saw.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
No, it was really good. As a matter of fact, I mean, I've been a spiritual person nearly all my life, and maybe even before. I don't know. I don't know how I got here and what kind of a person I was before I was actually born on the earth. And I've never seen that until that day that he was sitting there, and all of a sudden, it was just there. I could just see it, and I wasn't looking at him. It moved like to the side of him, and I could just see this bright white light around him. It was amazing.
I know, that's what I said. I was like, wow, I don't know
I
what
didn't,
to
I
say
didn't
to
say
that.
anything
Like,
right
what-
then. I didn't say anything right then because
Yeah.
I'm trying to analyze what I'm seeing here. You know, as we're doing the session, I'm thinking, okay, put this on hold right here, down, hold
Right.
it right
Hold
there,
on to it.
and let's keep moving. You
Right.
know, with the session. But I did tell him later.
Yeah, he
on
told me
Wow.
later, and I
that
was
could
like,
actually see it.
wow.
That's
That was,
deep.
I was exactly what I was like, wow.
Yeah, I'm looking
That
forward
sounds, that
Yes.
sounds
to
pretty.
working with you. Yeah, I
intense.
definitely want to get you to work with my wife. She's going through some stuff right now.
Okay.
Physically, she's awesome. She got diagnosed with breast cancer.
Okay.
And they say breast cancer has an emotional link to it. So we got
Every
the physical
disease
part
does.
under control. We lifestyle change,
Yeah.
got her off sugar, processed foods, clean up her diet, all that.
Yeah.
Now she needs to let go of whatever. I think I'm pretty much, I don't know exactly what it is, but I know it's something in her past, like before she met me, because it's always been there. But it's like,
The blockage?
yeah, but the thing is, you know, I can distract her, and I didn't really know. You know what I'm saying? Like over the years, I've learned, especially now, I know. But I was able to distract her because she was always focused on me. She wouldn't focus on her past. I was taking her forward. But now we have something that that I have no ability to assist with other than cooking her clean meals and all that type of stuff. So now it's that emotional thing that triggered it. Then she has to, So I want to,
Well, you know what I do with folks who come to me in those kinds of situations where they have really, really tough things that they're dealing with on a daily basis, is that whatever the trauma is or whatever brought this into your life, that's one thing. That is the past. And where I take most people is, let's not look at the incident that's happened or the list of things that have happened that caused you to have a physical disease or an emotional situation, but let's just look at how it feels and move from there. Because the longer we stay focused on that back there, the longer we stay anchored to
Right.
it. And so we go from what their emotion is, and we start working on that through meditation and through working on that inner self, that spiritual person that we all are, because people can be healed from that.
yeah.
I heard a woman's testimony recently where she had stage 4 cancer. She and her husband left town, locked up the house, left town, and they went to a hotel in another city and stayed in that hotel room for 2 weeks. And the only thing they did was watch funny movies for 2 weeks. When she went back to her doctor, she was already improving. The cancer was dissipating in her body because she focused on her joy, on her bliss, on her thanksgiving, on her gratitude, and her love of life. And it changed everything in her body.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
So we can do that. We have that power.
Wow. That's amazing.
So if you were gonna leave our audience with something just really powerful that you can pass through this video, right? Just something that can help everyone. I know you help people specifically with things, but just something I mean, there's a lot of things that we've talked about. That's just like I know
So
that I
much.
carry with myself all the time.
Yeah.
It's helpful all the time, you know. But
There's so
something
much.
something that you've seen a lot of, and it's pretty even keel across the board.
Well, in today's environment, what I see a lot is anxiety. A lot. And I've even had clients who come to me that their anxiety actually attached to me. And I began to feel physical manifestations of their anxiety. That's not the case now, because I've learned that to know who I am when I cross the threshold to serve someone, and know who I am when I leave.
You
and
can
cross
leave
the
it over
threshold
there.
again.
Yeah.
Leave it there.
Yeah.
And so what people can learn is that no matter what their situation is, there is always a better place to go to every single time.
Yeah.
Remember when we talked about the veil? That as we are moving along through life and we choose to love life, we pass through the veil one more time into a new, present, beautiful future every single time when you choose life and choose to love life.
Wow.
So I guess if there's one expression, choose to love life.
Hey, that's
John,
a beautiful one.
You're the man. I can't wait to do some work with you, bro.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Love you, man.
Awesome, my
I
pleasure.
love you. Thank you.